Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good morning from Lahore, Pakistan, and Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Javed Iqbal Kokar, Professor of Forensic Medicine and Toxicology. As I am discussing drowning, and this is the 8th lecture of this series, and this is the last lecture on the topic of this series of drowning. And we'll continue the internal appearances, and as I was discussing the internal appearances in drowning, and I'll continue, there were some topics which are left. So the learning objective of today's lecture will be that I'll be discussing there are certain other signs regarding internal autopsy findings and regarding drowning. Then I'll talk about the medico-legal aspects, and which are definitely about the cause of death, and if the cause of death is drowning, then either it is suicidal, homicidal, or accidental. Then the important issue is the time since death, since how long the body remained in water. Then there are certain difficulties in diagnosing the drowning as a cause of death. And these issues are, is drowning the cause of death? And they are particularly issues if the bodies are decomposed. So starting with the topic, the internal appearances in drowning regarding other signs and the medico-legal aspects. So regarding the other signs, the temporal bone should be examined in all the drowning cases, as a significant number of drowning victims show haemorrhages in the temporal bones. In order to establish drowning as a sole cause of death, it is essential to rule out any disease process that may contribute to the death. So any fatal trauma to the head or neck may cause death without any visible injury. So the toxicological analysis should always be done, and it should be done for estimation of alcohol, sedatives, or the person may be suffering from epilepsy and some epileptic drugs may be found. Now regarding the medico-legal aspects, whether the death was due to drowning or not, and if drowning, was it suicidal, homicidal, or accidental. Then time since death, since how long the body remained in water. Now regarding the death, was it due to drowning? We know that it is common to kill a person or to poison a person, then throw the body in the water to conceal their crime. And in a typical drowning, we know there are certain peculiar signs. There will be fine froth at the nose and mouth, material which has been grasped in the hands by the cadaveric spasm, fine froth in the respiratory passages, and edematous lungs which are swollen up, edematous, and they have been bulged out. If you dissect the body, they bulge out and they do not collapse even after removal. Then detection of diatoms, they also help in diagnosing the death as drowning. These signs are seen in the fresh bodies, but if the putrefaction sets in, then the diagnosis becomes difficult. Now regarding being it is suicidal, homicidal, or accidental, the appearance of the drowned body will be the same. Whether it is suicidal, homicidal, or accidental, all the findings of the drowning will be there. Whether the disease jumped himself, fell in, or was thrown into the water by somebody else, all the findings will be the same. So the circumstantial evidence, they usually decide about the case. But if the circumstantial evidence is not available, again there will be a problem in fixing the responsibility, who was responsible. Now regarding the drowning as suicidal. Suicidal is fairly common amongst females, especially in those towns which are situated near water like sea, river or canals. And women, when they usually make sure to die, she will tie her clothes in such a manner that their private parts are not exposed even after their death. A determined suicide person may even tie himself or tie some weights with the body before submersion, or may take some poison or cut his wrist or throat and then jump into the water. However, in such cases, the body is free from other kinds of injuries which are normally indicate some assault. Now, regarding being homicidal, homicidal drowning is rare except in infants and children, and an adult may be stupefied or overpowered and then be thrown into the water. Other injuries may also be found in homicidal cases, which are before the being thrown or being pulled or pushed. They are usually defense injuries. So regarding being accidental, the accidental drowning is quite common, and it is seen in children, the bathers which are gone for swimming, the fishermen, the dock workers, intoxicated and epileptic persons. Injuries may also be sustained during accidental fall. Now regarding the time since death in drowning. Unfortunately, the time since death in bodies recovered from water cannot be fixed with certainty because there are certain problems. The longer the time between the death and examination, the greater will be the latitude which should be allowed. A close examination can avoid inaccuracies. Now, a watch may stop, which gives an indication of the time. Some show the date also. The temperature of the body falls rapidly. As per Casper dictum, the rate of cooling is twice in water as compared to air. The rigor mortis sets in early. The wrinkling of the skin starts appearing shortly after the immersion. The bleaching of the cuticle in 12 hours, the sodden appearance in 18 hours. Then the floating of the body due to accumulation of putrefactive gases, it occurs in about 24 hours in summers and may be delayed up to 2 to 3 days in winters. Similarly, the fleas, they are drowned in about 24 to 27 hours. They remain alive and they are dead after 24 to 27 hours. If any of these insects are found on the body, they should be placed under the watch glass and then observed. Majority of the lice, they die within 12 hours, but a few may live for more than 48 hours underwater. Then the putrefaction first begins in the upper part of the body and it is slowed down as long the body is in water. But once the body is brought out of the water, it sets in rapidly. The skin of the hand and feet becomes loose and peels off like gloves in about 2 to 4 days. Sometimes the Adipocere formation may take place in about 5 to 15 days. Now, regarding the difficulties in diagnosing the death from drowning. The difficulties in diagnosing death from drowning, they are when the signs of drowning are absent, when the injuries are found on the body, and when the body is in decomposed condition. Now, regarding the absence of signs, the signs of the drowning are absent in bodies that are recovered from water when the person had died of laryngeal spasm, then there will be no signs of drowning. If the person was killed and then thrown into the water, if the body was decomposed. So these signs will be absent in these type of bodies. Then minimal signs are found in submersion of an unconscious. Now regarding other injuries, when the other injuries are found on the body, recovered from the body, it naturally will arise a suspicion. And they may be suicidal cuts or homicidal injuries or injuries sustained during the accidental fall, or sometimes they are after death. So it should be remembered that the injuries may have been sustained before death, after death, or during drowning. Although the injuries sustained before and during drowning are antemortem in nature, but they do not show ecchymosis because they are continuously being washed by the surrounding water, or they may be in flowing water and the water is constantly washing that area. So the microscopic examination is therefore necessary in all such cases. When the injuries they are sustained after drowning, the most common injuries which are sustained after drowning, they are caused by fishes, frogs, crabs or other animals, or by passing boats which hit the body. The animals usually attack the projecting or the protruding organs or the parts of the body like eyelids, nose, ear lobules, fingers and penis and scrotum, which are the protruding objects. The distribution of injuries, they are postmortem in nature, and the nibbled margins, they help in diagnosing such cases that they have been caused by the animals and postmortem in nature. Now, when the bodies are decomposed, when the putrefaction sets in, the signs of drowning are masked and they are entirely obliterated. The fine froth is replaced by blood-stained putrefactive fluid. Lungs undergo softening and blood-stained fluid accumulates in the pleural cavities. The stomach is usually empty and the contents they transudate out or they are forced out. In early stage of putrefaction, the diagnosis of drowning is a little bit possible in some cases. Fine froth may not be present in nostril but may be found in trachea. Similarly, the aquatic material may be seen there. However, in advanced stages of putrefaction, the drowning cannot be diagnosed only on the presence of the aquatic material in the upper respiratory tract. In such cases, the viscera should always be sent to the chemical analysis. Diatoms resist putrefaction and their presence, especially in brain and bone marrow, they provide a valuable evidence of death from drowning. The chemical examination of the viscera may provide evidence regarding poisoning. In case of negative chemical examiner's report, negative diatom test, the cause of death cannot be given. So thank you very much. This is all about drowning. This was the last lecture of this series. I'll continue the next asphyxial deaths in the next lecture series. Take care. Allah Hafiz. Bye bye. Please subscribe to my channel, and this is my channel name, Dr. Javed Iqbal Kokhar, Lectures on Forensic Medicine.